For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. Nashville, Tennessee police have released body cam video from the officers who responded to the nation's latest mass shooting. Police said the shooter legally bought the firearms used in the massacre. Eileen Alfandary reports.
Nashville Police Chief John Drake says the school shooter legally bought 7 firearms in recent years and hid the guns from their parents before Monday's attack at a Christian school where the suspect killed 3 9-year-old children and 3 adults. The head of the school, a substitute teacher, and the longtime custodian.
Audrey bought 7 firearms from 5 different local gun stores here legally. 3 of those weapons were used yesterday during this horrific tragedy.
Police responded quickly and shot dead the 28-year-old suspect, Audrey Hale, who also went by the name of Aiden. Drake said Hale was under a doctor's care for an undisclosed emotional disorder.
The parents felt that she should not own weapons. They were under the impression that was when she sold the one weapon that she did not own anymore. As it turned out, she had been hiding several weapons within the house.
Police said Hale, who was transgender, may have been resentful of the Christian school, which they had to attend. In any case, Tennessee does not have a red flag law, which allows police to take firearms away from people who threaten to kill themselves or others. Laws are about to become even more lax. A federal judge has cleared the way to drop the minimum age for Tennessee residents to carry handguns publicly without a permit to 18. Just 2 years after a new law set the age at 21. I'm Eileen Alfandary for KPFA News.
Nashville police have yet to release the shooter's manifesto, but messages to a friend on Instagram from Audrey Hale said they were going to die and the reasons would come out in the end. The Covenant School was cited in a sexual abuse lawsuit filed in 2013 that alleged sexual abuse took place at the school between the years 2002 and 2012. A federal judge has ruled former Vice President Mike Pence will have to testify before a grand jury in the federal probe into efforts by former President Donald Trump and his allies to overturn the 2020 election. That's according to 2 anonymous sources who spoke to the Associated Press. They said Pence would not have to answer questions about his actions on January 6th when a mob of Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol building as Pence was presiding over a joint session of Congress to certify the vote. Pence and his attorneys had cited constitutional grounds in challenging the subpoena. California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed into law the nation's first penalty for price gouging at the pump. He compared California's crackdown on gas prices to Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' fight with the Disney Corporation over the Don't Say Gay bill, which Disney opposed.
We proved we could actually beat big oil. I know there was a guy down there in the South, in a state I think called Florida, who, was sitting there and he used this phrase. He said, there's a new sheriff in town when he brought Mickey Mouse to his knees. Well, there's a new sheriff in town in California where we brought big oil to their knees. And I'm proud of this state, and I'm proud of this state.
The measure empowers state regulators to punish oil companies for excess profits. The state's Energy Commission will decide what qualifies as price gouging. The bill's author, State Senator Nancy Skinner.
So this is the strongest, most effective transparency and oversight measure in the nation. California has sent a clear message to the oil industry. Open your books and prove that you're not price gouging. Otherwise, you, big oil, will pay the price, not consumers.
Last year, gasoline prices spiked to $6.44 in major cities in California. In rural areas, prices topped $8 a gallon. Senators took their first look into the collapse of the failed Silicon Valley Bank, the second largest bank failure in the U.S., yesterday at the Senate Banking Committee. Christopher Martinez reports.
The chair of the committee, Democrat Sherrod Brown of Ohio, lost no time casting blame for the bank failure that sent shockwaves through the financial sector.
The scene of the crime does not start with the regulators before us. Instead, we must look inside the bank at the bank CEOs, at the Trump-era banking regulators who made it their mission, again, to give Wall Street everything it wanted.
He says Silicon Valley Bank, fed by venture capitalists, grew too rapidly. In short, he says, wealthy elites doing anything for a quick profit and then expecting workers and taxpayers to pay the price. The ranking Republican on the committee, Tim Scott of South Carolina, opened by seeming to agree with Brown, at least in part, but he also blamed federal regulators.
By all accounts, our regulators appear to have been asleep at the wheel.
Democrat Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts says she'll be introducing a bill to, in her words, hold executives accountable for exploding their banks.
Regulators burned down dozens of safeguards that were meant to stop banks from making risky bets.
Warren's bill will join another bill by Committee Chair Sherrod Brown. That one aimed at strengthening regulators' ability to impose fines and claw back executive bonuses. Reporting for Pacifica Radio News KPFA, I'm Christopher Martinez.
I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.